All righty. Hey, good morning, Misfits. It is March 3rd. Oh, it's my older brother's birthday. My brother Jimmy's birthday today. How cool is that? Hope you're having a good day. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. Gotta check. It is our 376th show. I hope everybody's doing great today. It is a wonderful Tuesday morning here in Dallas. It's about 55 degrees. It's a perfect day. Good morning, Ralph. Good to have you here. What else is going on? We got a game tonight against St. Mark's with the lacrosse group. What does this say? So direct selling as part of corporate teams, you get this magazine, part of just a thank you. And here it is. Direct Selling News says what every company needs in its U-turn plan. I haven't read that yet. That'll be interesting. What do you need in your U-turn plan when you turn things around, change things up? Good morning, everybody. Good to have you all here. As we get started this morning, I'd ask you to go ahead and send out your 3 messages. I'd ask you to think about yesterday and conversation we had yesterday about building our business and doing activities to build our business. So my question to you is, what am I trying to do here? That's what I'm trying to, no, I don't want to invite. What's going on here? Oh, chat. There we go. I want to see the chat. And I also want to see participants. There we go. Now I got it set up. This farm boy will figure it out eventually. So how did you do yesterday as it relates to building your business? Did you do an IPA? Did you do an activity that produces income? Did you do an activity that allows you to have more of what you want? Just one. Because if you did one and you did it consistently for the next, I don't know how many days are in March, January, February, March, 30 days, you'll have done 30 days consistently of an IPA. And ask yourself, when's the last time you did 13 days of an IPA? Michael, you back from Europe? He's getting things set up over there. He's trying to figure out, where am I? What screen am I on?
Yes, I am, Sean.
Outstanding. So how was Europe?
Oh, it was a blast. It was crazy. I love London. They have the underground tube, so you can go anywhere you want.
Isn't it crazy? It's gorgeous. Yep. Total different atmosphere over there. Glad to have you back safe, brother. So question. Did you do some activities yesterday? And then the question is, looking back at that activity, right? Inspect what you expect. What is your expectation for the end of the month? What is your expectation for the middle of the month? What is the expectation you desire to have for March? When it's said and done, you're say, glad I did or wish I had. That's what again, it's a little bit more businessy, but what skill or talent are you looking for? What skill or talent are you looking to need? What contact are you looking to need to come? Are you looking to come into your life to make a connection with? Good morning, everybody that's just recently joined us. Great to have you all here. I'm just looking through the names. I think I recognize most all of the names. Hey, there's Nikki from Vegas. Good to have you here. And Brianna from St. Thomas. I still talk about your grandpa Clarence and your grandmother almost every day to somebody. Pretty cool. So that being said, questions, comments, what about what you did yesterday, what you feel you could do more, or you did too much, or where there's some doubt showing up? Let's make this one of your best Marches ever. So let's work on it now, right? Rather than the 15th of the month or the end of the month and that big push at the end of the month that happens in your business. What skill or talent or what contact, who are you looking for in your business? Who's your avatar? What's your language look like? What's the response you're getting from the promotions that you're doing, from from your posts that you're doing in social media? That's awesome. Yeah, I there's something in the milk or something in the air, because my bride was up and I heard her walking the halls, if you will, at about 2:30 this morning. I was waking up every hour, not with any stress or anything like that, just looking at the clock and then go and ready to go. And so there was just there's this, I don't know if it's the moon or what it is, but it seems like the entrepreneur mindset was keeping us ready to go. Kind of interesting. So any questions, any comments, any thoughts? Otherwise, I'll do some notebook reading here. Here's the one I want. Anybody have a target number for their business, whether it be new enrollees, whether it be a volume number they want to hit? What's necessary for your next rank, right? Anybody want a pay increase? You can give yourself a pay increase in this business pretty quick. All right. So what are some of the things? What do you know some of the targets? So 500. So 500 is the target, Michael. Do you need, how many are you short of that? Or is that how many that you need?
Like, how many am I short from 500?
Yeah, it's 500 is the next rank. So that'd be
no, it's not the next rank. I'm 498 short of that, but I'm
okay,
going
cool.
for it.
Okay. So here's the key. And if we break this down to be the very simplest of ideas, do you know one person who could enroll 500 people? Do you know one person with that much clout, that much capability? And if you don't, do you know two people? And because what was it Sherlock Holmes said? If we eliminate all of the obvious, even the I don't know what he said, how the phrase goes, even the insane is the solution. So do you know one person who can enroll 500? Nope. Do you know two people who can enroll 250? Do you know three people who can enroll, figure out the numbers? And then you've got to work it backwards that way, just as simple as that is. So I don't. So then I don't know anybody who can enroll large numbers. Okay. The next path to go down then is, what do you think the average person can do? Can the average person do two? Can the average person do three? See, that's why you've got to start now. And you can get people excited. You can get people enthusiastic. When there's enough energy, Larry Thompson has a story called the Blue Ink story. And some of you are way too young to know what I'm going to talk about here. And what I mean by that is the mimeograph. I know Dana and Bob and probably maybe Rhonda's old enough to remember the old machine that we used to go down to the front office and you used to crank off copies and the copies would all come out blue. And it was the mimeograph machine, but it had that blue ink, but it also had that smell. The paper would get like damp because of the ink that would go on it. Anyway, so most people were used to seeing black ink on enrollment forms. Yep, the good old days. Oh, there's Ray Barbuda. Yep. So when they delivered this box of new applications to Larry Thompson, it's a pivotal story in the history of Herbalife. Larry Thompson was one of the co-founders of Herbalife and helped build it. And so the blue ink story is when he got this blue ink, he'd say, look at where this company's going. They got blue ink. Oh my God. It revitalized his passion. So Michael, I'm going to ask you, do you have a blue ink story? Do you have a story that you just came back from London. You can use that as your blue ink story. You just came back. Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe where this company is going. You're not going to believe what it's doing. The things that I learned over there, the things that we can do to change the environment, and it's going to be about your community, right? Or your generation or your psychographic, the people that follow you in social media. You're going to have to do some massive action. 500 people isn't a lot of people. What? I only have 2. 500 people ain't a lot of people. It's not. I think I had 700 rank advancements last month, just rank advancements in my organization. 500 people isn't a lot of people. Now, that's easy for me to say, but it's not a lot of people. It's not a lot if you remember where you're going. If you remember where you're going, 500 isn't where you're stopping at, is it? 5,000 is what you want on your team. 10,000 is what you want on your team. So 500 isn't a lot. So you're going to have to make a transition that this is just step one. And I'd start having the conversation right now. I'm building a tribe of this month, 500 people who want to change their life. Who do you know? And that's it. The second you start talking comp plan, the second you start talking all of this other stuff, what it is, what you do, I'm just looking for 500 people who want to change their status. They want to change their status to frustrated to happy, from broke to from less broke, from broke to becoming even, back even, to having some spending money. I'm looking to teach 500 people how to put some spending money in their pocket in the next 30 days and keep it there. You got to come up with a 500 person story, brother.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know, even besides like the whole business and everything, like I know how to be happy because I'm happy as hell. So I can make these people happy myself. Well, not myself, but like I can show them.
Well, you show them what it's possible to unlock their own happiness, right? Because if you got to do it, you know how hard it is to babysit 500 people. Little switching language. The fact that you are excited, the fact that you're excitable, the fact that you have self-excitement, the fact that you have passion and drive and caring and love and laughter. There's 500 people who want to be around you, brother. You've got to tell the story. You've got to be out there. You've got to be telling the story. You've got to be recognizing folks who are coming in saying, listen, Tommy just came in, heard the story, and he's excited about what's going on. You've got to be doing some little mini interviews if anybody's local with you. So why did you decide to join the tribe? Why did you decide to get on the happy wagon? Right? And let people know that this isn't just about you, because that's where it is right now, you and two people. But let them know they can be a part of something bigger. Tell a story that's a 5,000 person story. Right? We're going to a concert. How many are going to be there? 2. Well, that's not a concert. We're going to a concert. There's going to be 10,000 people there, but the first 500 get a special discount. Come up with a story. And I'd start to listen for what the story is going to sound like. Because you've already heard it. You already know what it looks like. I'm going to ask you, how do you make a happy 500 person story, a fun 500 person story, an exciting 500 person story? I want you to sit for just a second quietly and tell me what it's going to be like. Tell me where your energy's at on March 28th when 500 people have just joined your business. What's happened? Play it backwards. You're trying to play it forwards right now. Most times when we go to set goals, we try to play them forward. We try to play them forward from this day into the unknown. Start with the known that you've got 500 people on your business and build it backwards. Well, on the 29th, the 500th person joined, and oh my God, we threw a party, and and the day before it was only 470, and 30 people came in one day. And here's what happened. And when we did that, we did some promotions on Instagram, and we did some storytelling and blah, 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 blah. I had an interview with the chairman, 10,000, whatever it is. Work it backwards. So all of a sudden, because a person a day ain't going to get you there, 2 people a day ain't going to get you there. This is going to be the hockey stick of enrollments, right? 2, 10, 15, 50, 100. Does that make sense? Cool. Awesome. Yeah, Rob, 20 years ago. So he's got in his LT Wealth Building Academy, he's got all of the millionaire tapes enhanced, not edited, enhanced. And I got to tell you, listening to those millionaire tapes, he sounds like a little kid. He just does. But it's the same stuff. Oh my gosh. Right? Truth and wisdom will always be truth and wisdom. Awesome. Good morning, everybody. I think I may have mentioned it, but go ahead and send out your 3 messages to those people that you care about. And I'm getting a couple of those messages from y'all. I appreciate that. Love you tons for those messages. Somewhere here, I thought was my phone. Anyways, send out your 3 messages. And when you're done, type a D in the chat when you've sent out your 3 messages, or when you've programmed them to go out, or And why do we send out 3 messages? Just for that reason. Imagine if you sent out messages to people, you sent out 500 messages and somebody goes, what are you doing? I got to do what you do. That's just crazy. How do you make money doing what you do? So any other questions or comments, or how to hit your numbers? What are some tasks or activities you might do to hit your numbers this month? If you've got a question or you want to ask something or throw something out there, feel free to do that. Just raise your hand and I'll look up and I'll see a little blue hand over here in the chat box. Let's see here. Here's a question for you. Funny how we're talking about business. Where's this from? Where was I sitting when I took this? Because it's all what we're talking about right now. Isn't that interesting? Where was this? Must have been at an event. What race are you running that you're looking to win? If you got another chance to run your race, you're going to have to run your own race. Oh, this is McFarland. So yeah, this was Tiffany Malott doing some teaching. How often do you complain about your job? It was like that for me when she would talk about her job. How many people have told you it's not a job? So let's see here. Have you ever asked, how did I get here? Because if you've asked that, remember, so these are just some ways to understand where your prospect is sitting. Do you remember what it was like when you got prospected? When somebody asked you to take a look at this, how many times did you say yes? How many times did you say no? What was it that made you say no? Was it their personality? Did they stink? Did they, was it their dress? Was it their accent? Was it their language? Was it their ability to present, to have a dialogue? Was it a push conversation, meaning they dumped everything on you? If you're looking to take your business to the next level, the only way it's going to change is for things to change, for things to get better, you got to get better. For things to change, you have to change. Right, Jim Rohn? What decisions do you have to make to get you out of here? Is it energy management? Because there's no such thing as time management. Is there energy management? Do you need to be aware of what you do on an hourly basis, on a half-hourly basis, on a 15-minute basis? Let me ask this question. This will get it all cleared up. How many of you believe that your amount of productivity, could increase? Just type an I in the chat. If you believe the amount of product, I'm not saying how much more, do you believe that you could increase it without really changing what you're doing, without really affecting what you're doing in the world? You could increase it. So in that increase, do you want the result to be more than it has been in the past or less than it's been in the past? Type an M for more or L for less. So if you know that you can increase your productivity and you can increase it and you want more results, then you've got to do some introspection. You've got to ask yourself some questions, because doing the same stuff over and over, I think we've all heard that phrase 1,000 times, doing the same thing over and over, that's a little bit of insanity. So I don't know where it says it's live on YouTube. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So you want to increase your productivity. You're going to have to decide what that increase looks like. what does it look like? What is one more little thing you can do each day? Is it a post? Is it a direct message that you can do? What's that one little thing you're going to do each day? Now, some of you can increase your activities bunches, absolutely bunches. You've got to decide, you've got to make a decision in this moment, what it is you want and what it is you're not willing to hold on to. The old story, the old income, the old rank, the old whatever it is. And you may not break rank this month, but some of us need to have a story we can believe in again. Some of us need to see we can do it. Some of us need to see you've got the capacity, you've got the capability, and you've got the talent. Some of us may have never really ever built a large organization, right? So somebody just type in the chat, what would be a reasonable, again, if we go back to Sunday and we go back to Bob, right? I'm not sure which one he got it out of, but whether it be the pathway or whether it be the solution, I just started reading the pathway, right? Look at that, how the tree shows up. Look. Reasonable expectations. Reasonable expectations. Because you can say, I want 10,000 people on my team. Now, I could show you how to do that. I could absolutely show you how to do that. Why? Because I've done it. I can show you how to put 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 on your team. I can show you how to do that. But right now, what's your reasonable expectation? What would you want to have on your team at the end of the month? Because here it is, March 3rd. So some of you may need to do little giveaways. Michael, I'd figure out what a giveaway is for a lead magnet, right? There's some talent, there's some energy, there's some excitement that you've learned. Did you learn anything that wasn't talked about in your profession before? I heard you had a couple of cash billionaires, the highest income earners or whatever it was. You had some unique talents that were presented to you on stage over there in London. So my question to you is there a couple of things, is there a page of notes that would be absolutely unique that you had to be one of the, I don't know how many people were at the event. Was it 5,000, 10,000? How many people were at the event, Michael?
Like 7,000.
So you're one of 7,000 people in the world, and pretty much the people that were all there aren't going to be looking to join you. So then the question is, there's probably a few thousand more people who would really have loved to have learned. So can you create a PDF that says, if you'd like to learn the following bullet points, and you list some of the bullet points from your notes? If you're looking to make March your best sales month ever, here's some bullet points. If you're looking to make March your best retention month ever, here's some bullet points. And you create 4 or 5 of these giveaways, 4 or 5 of these lead magnets. Does that make sense? And you create those and you say, DM me for that information. And you give some teasers in your storylines. You talk about the stories. You talk about some of the content that's in there. Don't do a training. Don't do a training. Actually read the bullet points. But once they get the PDF, the bullet points go into a little bit more depth. Right? And you can give all this stuff away because they don't have you. All they're doing is like reading this book. I would have never bought this book had it not been for Bob, right? Bob walked us through some scenario and I go, ooh, I want more of that. So, and then you can do another story and then you can do another story. So if you start to figure out what your marketing plan is going to be this month, you start to go into explaining each one of those bullet points. And you explain, if you've got 7 bullet points, you do 3 different stories on number 1, number 2, and number 4. Listen, there's 4 more of those bullet points. I don't have time for that. If you want to know the 3 other bullet points, let me know. Send me a private message. I'm looking to build my team. This is going to help people build their teams. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I was muted, but I was like, yeah, it clicked. Like, yes, let's get it.
So just because here's the thing, people want to be around you, because you've got something they need, whether it be your energy, whether it be your content, your context, your contacts. So give them a chance to know what it is you have, right? Give them a chance to hear the story, the training, the learning, the teaching that you went through. And I would encourage you, here's where it's going to be hard for some of you on this call. You're going to take this information and try to push it out as your own. You're going to try to tell these stories as if they're your stories. People are going to see right through it. Unless it is your story. Oh, here I'm going to let me train you on this, and how to be and how to become the number one liquid cash billionaire in the world. Nobody's going to believe that. Nobody's going to believe you could tell me that until you've done it. So what you're looking at here is something Ray Higdon calls ILT, invest, learn, teach. You've invested in yourself. You're going to learn it, right? The best way to learn to learn something is to have to teach it, and then you're going to teach it. So you come up with a variety of bullet points, right? In the 4 or 5 areas, same content, but it's one, this is for how to build a better future for your family, how to get out of college debt, right? Look at your audience. Larry Thompson talks about audience, language, and behavior. Look at your audience. Who's going to be looking at this? Is it going to be other kids on Instagram? Great. How do you get your college debt? How do you pay off credit card debt? How do you go get your new car and have enough income, have a financial statement that allows you to get your dream car? All of these things, people in your audience are using language to speak, right? My audience, 50-year-old and plus, 50-year-old and above, right? They're probably looking at how do they pay for their kids' tuition. Maybe they're looking at how to pay for the wedding. Maybe they're looking at how to take care of their grandkids. Right? So you got to look at what the language is that you're using, what you're teaching to, and who are you teaching to. 500 people is easy. Because I can promise you this, if you told me the name of somebody you loved and you gave me that name, and I said on March 31st or whatever the last day is of March at midnight, if you don't have 500 people, they get tossed off the tallest building you can think of. You'd have 500 people, wouldn't you? Yeah. So you got to decide who are you doing this push for. Does that help everybody? Is this conversation okay? Anybody else getting value from this? If you're getting some value from it, drop a V in the chat. Cool. Okay. Here's a question you could ask people. Are you running out of options? See, we're in this business world. The only reason our business slows down is because we think we've run out of options. What if that was just a post? Have you run out of options? How many kids, and I say kids with all love, honor, and respect, how many kids, how many times have you guys had conversations where people say, I don't know what to do next? How many times have you been reminded that you have made mistakes by those around you? Have you ever had to make something work? What if you were talking to somebody and part of the qualifying process, one of the qualifying questions to see if they're truly entrepreneurial mindset, and they don't think they're an entrepreneurial mindset? Have you ever had to make something work? Have you ever really just had to make something work? What do you think the chances are? What do you think the chances are that somebody you're having a conversation with has been at some moment in their life that they've had to make something work? And what if you never asked that question? And what if they said they don't have the capability, they don't have the capacity to do what you do? And then you use this question. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been at a moment in your life where you've had to make something work? Now all of a sudden you have a common conversation, you have a common connection, you have a psychographic that you can both understand. sometimes I believe, sometimes it's my interpretation, my perception that when people teach this profession, when people teach about how to ask people to join you in the shared economy, this gig economy, they're trying to teach you how to start a business. Nobody wants to start a business. Somebody wants to do something fun. Larry Thompson says it all the time: simple, fun, and magical. How do you do something simple, fun, and magical that creates a business that allows people to have a little bit more of what they want, less of what they don't, without them having to change everything about their life? Some of you are using the old style, the old MLM, Lamborghini and bikini conversation. Let's go make $10,000 a month. Most people don't want to make 10 grand a month. Most people can't even wrap their arms around 10 grand a month. They all want it. If a $10,000 check fell on the floor with their name on it, they'd cash it. Nobody wants to work that hard. That discipline is long gone. And because of the way the business model has adapted to society, right? Way back when, to make 6 grand, 5 grand, 20 grand in a month, it wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't difficult, but you had 5 and 6 and 10 and 17 and $25,000 packages people would have to buy to get started. Now it gets started for free. Now it gets started for $200, $300. That's nothing. I enrolled one time, it was $13,000 was the enrollment kit. Think there was some cash made? You think somebody's first check, they did that 49 times? Think they did that 50 times? Think they did that 10 times in a month, 130 grand? What do you think the first month's commission check was on something like that? But you had to be a better salesman. You had to be better at painting the vision, painting the dream. Some of you need to get better at painting the dream, painting the vision. And you're trying to paint them a commission plan. You're trying to paint them a compensation plan. You're trying to paint them the ingredient deck of your product, the back office of your product. Nobody cares about the back office of your product because they don't know what to do with it. Their life seems okay right now. Yeah, in that business I was in, my first month's commission check was $13,000. You think that would get people excited? Do you think people were selling their kids and selling their furniture to figure out how to get involved in that deal? Of course they were. Some people got hurt. Bad deal. Here's one. If you think you're not tall enough, if you think you're not short enough, if you think you don't know enough, if you're not rich enough, if you don't have enough money, you're not a guy, you're not a gal, you're not emotional enough, you're too emotional, you got all this stuff. Let me let you in on a little clue. It's always the same air. The people you're aspiring to breathe, to be, are breathing the same air you're breathing. They're looking at the same sun you're looking at. They're seeing the same roads you're driving on. They're using the same airwaves on their cell phone that you are. They're using the same internet capacity and capability that you are. It's always the same air. It's always the same air. So here's the question that would go directly to Michael and to all of us. But when's the last time you got started on hope? When's the last time you got started on hope? How many of you have ever asked a prospect that? When's the last time hope was in your life? See how if you dive a little bit deeper, you can have a little bit. Listen, I tell people all the time, I'm on a small talk diet. If we're going to have a conversation about you taking care of your family, how important is it that you take care of your family? I'll ask every one of you on this call, 42 people, how important is it that you take care of you and your family on a scale of 1 to 10? 1, not important at all. 10, very important. Yeah. So here's my question then. If on a scale of 1 to 10, Crispy says 100 because they're an overachiever. Trey says 10. Gisela says 10. Bona says 10. Ralph says 10. If on a scale of 1 to 10, so for 6 people, it's important. The rest of you are trying to figure out. Ross says 10. Do you think you're going to come across a prospect where that number would be less than 10? Listen carefully. When you understand the psychology of the conversation you're having and how much authority that you have and how much control that you have, how much capability you have to inspire somebody, every one of you are putting a 10 up. How many of you believe your prospect is going to say 10 as well? Now here's the next question. How many of you believe what you have to offer could allow them to use this and make that 10 a little bit easier to take care of their family? Listen to me. I'll say it again. How many of you believe that what you have to offer, your company is different than mine. Your comp plan is different than mine. You're different than me. How many of you believe that what you have to offer could help people achieve that 10 just a little bit easier? Then if you believe that's possible, then how hard is it to tell your story? What story are you telling that's making them think they can't use this? You know what story you're telling that makes them think they can't use this? Is you never set this up as a solution. You never set this up as a solution. What you're about to have a conversation with is going to talk about your number one product. How do they get to a 10? How do they make their 10 come true? Y'all getting this? It's the same content. I'm just switching up the context, how you deliver it. You still get to talk about your comp plan, your company, and all of the great things it does. I'd encourage you not to talk about the things that they don't understand. Right? We saw Angie talk about somebody sending a message yesterday, and this was one of the taglines he had. This was one of the last sentences he had in the message he sent. Some cold prospect saw something on her Instagram or somewhere and sent her a message and said this about that and that about the currency exchange that it belongs in. But the last question they said is, I'm not sure this is cool because slavery was abolished years ago. How do you get to there? How scared is this person that they would actually be strong enough to put, and slavery was abolished a long time ago. People making money off of people, that's slavery. Now, how easy is it for us to go back and say, you're an idiot? It would be so easy. But is that your job? What's your job description? Your job description isn't to tell somebody they're an idiot. You don't get paid to do that unless you do. Because if you do, I got a couple of people I'm going to have you sponsor right away because they live in a world of stupid people and they could absolutely make a ton of money. I didn't say any names. Don't be pointing at me. Don't be pointing that finger at me. You got 3 coming back. That's not our job description. Our job description is to help people get to their 10, isn't it? What's got to change in the way you have a conversation to help people get to their 10? And it could be a 10 maybe their 10 is in spiritual realm. I got to tell you, I lucked out. I got lucky. How many of you have ever felt like when you were employed, if you ever had a job, that they hired you for one thing, but all of the other skills and talents that you brought to that position, man, they just got that for free. Your job of answering the phone, but boy, all of a sudden you advance quickly because you're a good people person. You knew how to motivate people. You changed the morale in the office. That was all just an absolute plus. I got lucky because on my spiritual realm, I was looking for somebody. I had a couple of holes in my spiritual side. And then I had the kid from Holland who was able to stick their finger in the dike and plug some holes in my spirituality show up. That's just an added value. That's just like, so when I have a little challenge in my faith, I call Pink Robe Lady. Well, now let's just talk about this. There's some Bible verse shows up. Usually it's James. James is a beast. You should go read James. James is not for the faint of heart. You do not read James. Listen, I've not read the Bible before. Where should I start? James. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Man, this guy's tough. So that's a short book. You don't need to be rung through the ringer that much. So, questions, comments, thoughts. What are you doing that you, what skill or talent, what capability, what capacity, what can you do to help people get to a 10? I think that's what we all desire, is to help people get to a 10. Then the question becomes, we got to know what their 10 is. Sometimes we're talking to the thing that they're a 2 in, and they don't even want to be a 3 in it. When we find out what their 10 is, do you think they'll ever leave us? Do you think if you get good at giving them their 10, do you think they'll ever disappear? That's called retention. Right? That's called retention. And I don't know why the word tension just showed up, because I was gonna make a little funny little quip on the word retention. Well, if we get them to a 10, it's called tension. Yeah, I think it is create tension. Some of us aren't good at creating tension, and the tension is if they don't have you, they lose out. You've heard Rhonda tell the story. Begrudgingly, she tried products because the tension was there so strong that it's like, there's a lot I could learn from this chucklehead. And so the tension was there that kept her going, well, I gotta at least try the product so I can then say to him, it don't work, and we can get on with the rest of the program. And I was okay if it didn't work. Shocked that it did work, because there's a placebo that it doesn't matter what you do, you'll make it work. A sugar pill, you can cure people with a sugar pill. That's called a placebo. How many of you know there's also something called a nocebo? I don't care if you give them the exact cure, it'll never work, because they've got their story so tied into their life. Nocebo, nothing will work. And some of you are trying to fight this thing where people have their nocebo that they're constantly taking, and you take it personal when they say no. They're playing their part in the movie. They will always be a failure. That's part of their story. Their script is written such that they're the Eeyore, right? To go to Winnie the Pooh, they're the Eeyore of life. Oh, life is going to be bad today. Oh, the sun's coming out. I'm going to get burned. Right? It doesn't matter what the good or bad is. They're going to be Eeyore. Poor thing. Oh, bless their heart. Thoughts, comments, feedback. RBP, where are you sitting?
Got a cat in the way at the moment. I'm trying to juggle things over here. I liked a couple of things here. It's making me think, because I'm sitting here. These are all my notes from the Gig Summit too. So I've got pages and pages of notes, and there's a few things that stuck out that I said that are huge. And the one that you said, are you running out of options? So one of the things I've done, and y'all probably saw it yesterday, is I've decided just to create little blurps on social media to just to get people to think differently. I'm not offering them anything. I'm just getting them to think differently. And I loved how you said, are you running out of options? Because I'm collecting stories, and you guys can send me yours, because I'll leverage those too. I'm collecting stories just to be able to show people that some people are running out of options, and there's an option in the Gig Summit. The gig economy. So I really like that. And I like the, have you ever had to make something work? Okay, so I really like that one, because I've sat down with a ton of people and they all go, oh, I can't do what you do. I sit down with my Bible study ladies, and some of them are really, really curious about what I'm doing. They're like, oh, well, I can't do you. I can't do what you do. But then I sit across from them and they're either going through horrific things in their personal life or they've accomplished horrific things in their personal life. They've gone through and come out the other side, and they're doing it while juggling kids and a job and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting over there going, I don't think you can make this work. But actually asking them that question, that I really liked that. I really like that a lot. And then I liked setting my business up as a solution. But more than anything, I think it goes back to some of what we talked about yesterday, because at the very top of my notes, I have decided at the beginning of all my note taking, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but you see it right at the very top. I know I scribble everywhere. Can you see it? It says, choose joy and freedom. And I'm waking up today listening to Sean and listening to anything else y'all throw out, because y'all teach me. And as I listen to it, I'm going to process it through the filter of joy and freedom. So every time he says something, I'm going to see how me asking somebody how have they ever had to make something work, how that keeps me choosing joy and freedom. Because when they tell me their story, instead of getting sucked into their story, I'm going to remain in joy and freedom. So then as they hear me speak back to them or answer them, they hear from my heart joy and freedom. And no matter what it is they keep saying, they hear joy and freedom. Every time I answer them, they hear joy and freedom. Every time I post something, it's posted out of joy and freedom. That's right, Brittany. People will pull you into their misery. Misery loves company. There's a reason that saying is so rampant. Misery loves company. If you're happy and they're not, they're so stuck in not being happy, they want you to join them. But everything I do, every post I post, every picture I take, every note I send out, I'm going to send out choosing joy and freedom. It's not transactional. Nothing's transactional. It's all joy and freedom. When I sit down and I talk to these people and I ask them how important it is to, take care of your family on a scale of 1 to 10, if it gets to that question, I'm going to ask them from joy and freedom. And the reason I'm making it such a big point is the last few weeks I've struggled in some areas and I forget to choose joy and freedom. And I said that exactly correctly. I forget to choose joy and freedom because my brain goes somewhere else, and it is a choice. Brittany, are we the same person? Girl, we are. If we ever get together, we will figure the whole world out and conquer it, and everybody have a happy life. Anyway,
I ain't wearing no
joy
big
and freedom. I say all this because when you choose joy and freedom, everything you do resonates at a vibration of joy and freedom. And any miserable person, anybody looking for a solution, any other happy person is attracted to the choice of joy and freedom. Doesn't mean they're going to do it, but they're attracted to it. And when they're attracted to it, that's one more person that you have the opportunity to potentially influence. And that's all you're looking for. You're not looking to just sell everybody in the world. You're looking for some influence, because as you influence them and you give them joy and freedom, it's what Sean said. When you get a chance for them to open up to you, then you can help them and it'll create retention, because what they get from you is what they need all the time: joy and freedom. Joy and freedom. You think about if we went to any place of work right now and we said we had a free load of joy and freedom, all you have to do is walk outside and grab a box. Everybody, almost everybody in there would come out and get a box. Now there are some, Eeyores or some stick in the muds. That's what we call it in East Texas. Don't be a stick in the mud. That will not choose joy and freedom, but most everybody will. So why not resonate at joy and freedom? Why not ask every one of these joy and freedom? And when I realize that my business is joy and freedom, I'm going to approach that conversation totally differently. I'm going to deliver that conversation totally differently. And it's going to be with a pep in my step and with a smile on my face, because I know no matter what, I'm choosing joy and freedom, but I know that I'm extending to them joy and freedom. And I'm saying it over and over and over and over, because sometimes if you're like me, there is a thick wall in your head that has to be punctured with a hammer of joy and freedom, joy and freedom, joy and freedom. It had to for me. And now that I have it, I want to help anybody else get joy and freedom. And if that means somebody comes to me and they're a young kid and they're smiling and they're excited and what I do doesn't jive with them, I will be like, hey, listen, I got a smiley friend named Michael who just came back from London. I need to connect you with them, because that will be their joy and freedom. It's not all about me. It's not all about the business I'm in. We have this beautiful way of connecting everybody, and we can start dishing out, hey, you will be a good fit over there. You're driving me nuts. You need to go work with that person. Go choose some joy and freedom over there. But it's all this approach of joy and freedom. Are y'all tired of me saying joy and freedom yet? Because you can't get it enough. And when you finally do, the smile that comes across your face and the kindness that comes out of your heart is so flippin' attractive that people will follow you just to follow you. And eventually, guess what they'll choose? Joy and freedom. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. When you finally get that, I'm over here, I'm gonna have to shed this robe again. Y'all start getting me all worked up. I'm like, it's gonna be no longer pink robe Rhonda. I don't know, it's gonna be black pajama Rhonda or something. I don't know. Does that resonate with anybody? Are y'all feeling that at all? Yeah, Michael, I love you and your smile. We're kindred spirits. Yes, Diane says yes. Did we lose Sean? Did I like boot him off the call or something?
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
So, hey, Diane, a couple of things I want to share with you. Two things I want to share with you. Thank you for doing what you did to help her day get better, the CEO, the president. But go back and thank her, because one of the challenges with being at the top is sometimes we don't get thanked. And I'm not saying you didn't. I'm sure you thank her every day. But say, listen, I got to brag on you on our call this morning, right? And go back and from me, tell her thank you as an entrepreneur, as a woman business owner, as a woman president in this really big man's world. I don't care how big the company is. That title, it's a tough one for women. But thank her for having the courage to accept that role, and thank her from me, saying that I appreciate what she goes through on a daily basis, and that we got her. We're a little support in her corner, just sending her energy. But just thank her for having the courage to take on that role. I don't care if she started the company, but that title brings a lot of responsibility, and just thank her for making the world a better place. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah, and this whole thing about joy. This whole thing about joy that Rhonda's talking about, we've seen glimpses of it, right? And this is things where when she's being her good mom, right? When she's laying down on the ground next to the trampoline, she's in joy. When she's taking care of her husband and they're going to the movies, or they're doing something, or they're having some smiles at church, that's in joy. But it's funny to see how the non-joy shows up a lot. And that's only because it sneaks in, it leaks in until, and I think that this weekend was an until moment for her. So, robe's gone. I just looked up and went, what? So here's a couple more questions you may want to ask. Who has talked you out of your dreams before? Do you think if you asked your prospect that, if they felt, now here's the hard part. Some of these questions require something that's paramount in order for you to ask them and get a real answer. And that's a place of safety, which means you have to come from a place of 100% confidence. You have to come with the intent to give, not the intent to get. That's a hard crossover. If you show up with the intent to get them in your business, I want to get them in my business, that is not a safe place for your prospect. And it comes down to the essence. The essence, ladies, I'm going to speak to the ladies for just a second. How many times have you had somebody come up to you, a guy come up to you in a environment where they're trying to get you a drink or pick you up or have a conversation with you, and you could just tell from the instant you met them that on the other side of that was just ooh and yuck and no good and don't touch. Okay. So, yeah, Brittany every day. Then the question comes, what is the essence with which they were having this conversation with? So I got to tell you, listen, it's a phrase you hear me use all the time. Who you are speaks so loud, I don't need to hear what you're saying. It's why some of you, when we've done the help seat conversations on these calls, you start to tell me some stuff and then I start to explain back to you and I say, I could be wrong, but here's what I'm feeling. And you're like, oh my God, you're not wrong at all. How could from a 2-minute conversation of you telling me a little bit about you, how can I know so much about you? Because who you are speaks so loud, I don't need to hear what you're saying. So can you present from a state of happiness and joy? Michael, can you present from, you've already got 500 people in your business. All you're looking to do is add another 500. Can you have that conversation from the intent that from the essence that the job is already completed? It's why I start my conversations. People ask me all the time, how are you? I'm outstanding. And then guess what kind of conversation I have? An outstanding conversation. So who's talked to you about your dreams before? Who's talked you out of your dreams before? Do you want to live your dream or watch somebody else's dream? Sometimes we got to rattle our cage a little bit. When has your success? Yes, go ahead.
Ask the same question the other way. Why can people talk us out of our dreams? And why do we let people talk us out of our dreams? Mm-hmm.
Well, so in the beginning, some of the people that are on here, that question, they can't even answer it. So if they ask that question to somebody else, they just, what'll happen is their misery will love company. And before you know it, both of them are talking about how much life sucks. It's just, until they know, that's the problem with psychology, is that unless you understand that their misery is looking for company and it's going to crawl down their leg, run across the floor and run up your leg. And before you know it, the both of you will be saying how shitty the world is. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So right. We go back to Sadhguru when we talk about, do you want a sharp intellect or a dull intellect? That question makes the intellect much sharper, but we got to know how to handle the sword. So they're great questions, but most of the people on here probably aren't there yet. But I'm glad you threw it out there because somebody is. Listen, here's a good one. Listen to this. When has your success drawn the attention of others? Isn't that a neat way of saying, when were you in the spotlight before? And did you love it? Maybe you've raised your kids to be amazing children. Maybe you have a marriage that is second to none and everybody just oohs and ahs over the way you and your spouse absolutely love each other. Maybe you're the best daughter in the world. Maybe you're the best son in the world. Right? I would venture to guess that Leo's attention to his mom when he talks about her, people, that leaves a mark. It's not always about your business success. Remember, your prospect hasn't been in your business before. And if they've had success in this business, you're not having these conversations. You're talking something totally different. We're talking about people who have tiptoed around this industry, who have tiptoed into this industry, who have tiptoed in and had some bad stories. They had some bad mojo go their way. So what we have to do, or what we get to do, is we get to have a conversation with people to remind them of their greatness, to remind them of the trials that they've been through, to remind them of the challenges that they've been able to withstand. the storms that have come through their life that they don't even think are storms anymore. But the rest of us look at it going, damn, you got through that? When has your success drawn the attention of others? When have others asked you about what you do? When in your life have other people asked you about what you do? And if people aren't asking you about what you do, you're not doing what you do enough. Right? You aren't giving people a chance to ask you about what you do. Either you're not doing enough of it, or you're not sharing it enough that people can ask you, what do you do? And that's it.
So that last question's curious. It was brilliant, Dana. He is freaking brilliant. I agree with you. Dana, you're brilliant for noticing his brilliance. Golly.
I accept
I
that.
don't know how.
I need to get a screenshot of that. How do you take a screenshot of that?
You need to get a recording of me saying that.
I'm brilliant.
You need to get a recording of me saying that and saying you're right, and then hold on to him forever.
So what makes it brilliant?
So that last question, huh?
So
What'd you say?
So what makes it brilliant?
Are you asking me or Dana?
You, anybody. What?
Oh, Brittany said the effortlessness. That's a good word. Is that a word? Effortlessness?
It is now.
It is now. It's in my vocabulary now, Brittany. So y'all better watch out. Effortlessness. No, the last question. Are you doing it enough? So simple resonance with people's hearts. I agree, Dana. Tell you what, that's another man. When I see him in person, he better hold on, but take a big deep breath, because I'll probably squeeze it out of him when I hug him. One day, Dana, one day, man. Are you doing it enough? So, you know, Sean, that can go like 690 miles an hour into holy crap mode when you say, are you doing it enough? And I'm gonna venture to guess that a lot of y'all will probably think the same thing at times, because you're like, well, I gotta do. So dive into that a little bit more as to what you mean by, are you doing it enough? And maybe that's just for me.
Well, and enough could be one more post, not 100 more posts. One more
Right.
post, right? You, the thing that you did with the music, right? And I love the way that you drew the attention from over here, my song and my story, I must be helpful. What does that mean? Now I got to go, now I got to go look at this other story to figure out what the hell that she's talking about. Right. And then it's helpful.
Y'all need to write that down. That's like a leap year moment. Once, like every 4 years, something amazing comes through my brain and I get out of the way and let it happen. And that was yesterday. That was pretty freaking awesome.
That was freaking awesome.
Proud of myself. But no, are you doing more? So that, I think that's where I could get tripped up. And if I didn't have you in my life the last year, and I didn't have these phone calls and all these people speaking and me gaining something from every single one of y'all, that's where I could go into the network marketing crazy. Like I could start Alcoholics Anonymous, but for network marketers, because of all the stuff it'll throw you into doing that you don't need to do, but it's not doing enough. I think it goes back to that conversation we had with Leo yesterday of, I got to do more. So I think that's a interesting way to end your questions today. And maybe it's just for me, because instantly it threw me into, oh crap, what do I need to be doing? And I had to yank myself out of it and speak up just to have some verbal accountability and out to the world that doing it can be a very small thing. And it can just be more consistency could equate doing. And that's what I'm going to try to do. Y'all will probably, if y'all follow me on social media, you'll probably see that I'm going to try to be more consistent in doing at least one thing every day. Hi, my name is Leo and I'm a professional network marketer. Yes, Leo, yes. As you do your salsa move and be like, hey. Oh, so am I the only one that kind of sent you into what do I need to do?
No,
No,
I
there
feel the
we
same way.
are, Angie, my girl. Yes, I love you.
I love you too. But I feel the same way. And I think it's good that he asked that, because I think through our journey as an entrepreneur, we always have to ask ourselves, like, are we doing enough? Are we going out of our way to talk more about business? Not in a way where we're pressuring people and putting onto them, but in a way where it's like impactful. Can y'all hear me?
Mhm.
Okay, just Rhonda froze. But so yeah, so
Well,
I'm
you
glad.
know, I freeze every now and again. Sorry, East Texas.
It's okay. So I feel that it made me think about my business and my journey and everything. Like, what do I need to do? What do I need to change? So that was a good question. That was a really good question.
And funny how it's always at the end of the, right? We go through all of this and then it's like, why don't I just start there? Well, it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the neat thing. You guys get to make those decisions. And so what I would encourage you, and Rhonda's kind of adopted this mindset of looking at content and turning it into questions. Anything that you wrote down, any conversations that you write down, any things that you're asking yourself, your prospect's going to answer it 10 times stronger. Right? We're sitting here sharpening our saw every day. We're sitting here working on ourselves. We've done this 376 hours. If we were only an hour, most of our calls are an hour and a half, right? Some are 2 hours. I'm saying that to say some of you have spent hundreds of hours sharpening your saw, sharpening your intellect. And when you show up to a prospect, you're like a ninja and you have your hand on the sword and you ask them a question and they don't even see you pull your sword. And they're like, holy crap, what just happened? I'm a loser. No, I'm cutting away all of the things that are not you. Sit there and be as dull as an earthworm. Help them understand what's the one thing they could do more of. I can tell you, if you're going to be talking to women who you know are moms, who doesn't think that any mom you're about to talk to doesn't have guilt about being a better mom? Instantly, they have guilt about being a better mom, and they're coming to want to learn how to build, to create income, to lose money, to trade, to do whatever it is. But the guilt is so strong about them not being a good mom, they'll do anything. They'll do stupid stuff to be a better mom. What they consider stupid stuff, what everybody's told them is stupid stuff. They'll volunteer to do the altar call. They'll just do crazy stuff so that they can. I got to get my. It's like they wear this badge, the mom badge. They got filled with all these buttons.
That's a bigger thing than you realize, Sean, even the way you're saying it. That's a huge thing. When you guys are sitting down with moms, because I looked at some stuff while he was saying that, listening, and I was like, can I sell myself to myself? And how would that sound? And would I buy? And when I say it, would I create mom guilt or would I alleviate mom guilt? And that's big. And if you're a mom, you get it. And if you're not, you need to try to wrap your brain around it. Because if someone toyed with that with me, I don't know that I'm arrived enough and a good enough person not to pull out my sword and slash them back. I know that sounds terrible because I've made a lot of improvement, but I don't know that I'm good enough to ward off that. So that's a huge point when you're sitting down talking to people, especially moms.
Especially moms, but let's take it back one more step, especially females. Females think that they're not good enough in so many things. right? Not tall enough. My shoes don't have the red on the bottom, or they got too much red, or they got this or that. I mean, it's from toes to nails to top of the head. And one of the things that I've been able to learn, having been exposed in 36 countries, not exposed, being exposed to.
Lord help us all, Sean. You went there.
Yeah, went right there, right off the cliff. The key is everybody's trying to figure out, how can I live a little bit, how can I be a little bit more acceptable in society? Goes back to their 10. What's the 10 they're looking to gain? So there you go. Hope that helps y'all. Hope that makes helps you on your path to your March. That is absolutely the best March ever, because you deserve it. You deserve to have the best March in the history of Marches. You're worthy. You deserve it. Have some fun. People are looking for fun. They're not looking for pressure. They're not looking for, Rhonda said, they're not looking for another job. They're not looking for stress. Looking for, in the words of Larry Thompson, fun, simple, and magical. Go be fun, simple, and magical in somebody's life today. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all tell each other you love each other. I love y'all.
I love y'all.
Love y'all too. Everybody have a blessed day.
Love y'all.
Love my Misfit family.
You all have a great day.
Have a blessed day.
Have a great day, everybody. Have a great day. TD.
Bye, y'all.